Hi students, welcome to another tutorial on how to use desmos to graph quadratic equations and find all of its characteristics or attributes. So here we have an example of an equation that says y equals negative parentheses x plus 3 close parentheses square plus 4. We're supposed to graph this and find the vertex, the x-intercept, the axis of symmetry, the y-intercept, the domain, the range, where it's increasing and where it's decreasing, right? So let's take a look at this. First, we have to graph this. So this is a vertex form, and the nice thing about Desmos is it's going to graph anything in any form, right? So let's remember that equation. We're going to get negative x plus 3 parentheses square plus 4. So I'm going to go over here and type it in. Y equals negative parentheses x plus 3 close parentheses raised to the second power plus 4. Let me make sure that that's the correct one. Yes. So there's my graph. As you can see here, if you move over here back to the graph, this is the vertex, right? So if you want to, you can go over here and label that. I think it's negative 3, 4. So I'm going to go here and label negative 3, comma 4. Label it vertex. And I'm actually going to put that order pair there just to remind me where that is. Negative 3, 4. So there's my label, right? You can change the color of the label too if you go to settings. But that's the label. Now, so what are we supposed to find? We're supposed to find the vertex. So we found the vertex. It's negative 3, 4. Next thing we're going to talk about the x-intercept, okay? So the x-intercept is where the graph crosses the x-axis. As you can see, if you hover your mouse over, it's going to be negative 5, 0. Negative 5, 0, negative 5, comma 0. You're going to label that, and you can put x-intercept, that's the first one, negative 5, comma 0, okay? And then if you hover to the right, there's another x-intercept here. It's negative 1, 0. So I'm going to go ahead and label that one negative 1, comma 0. And then I'm going to label that again x-intercept, oops, I can't type, int negative 1, comma 0. Okay, all right, so that's, we found three things, right? So let's see this list. Ask us for the axis of symmetry and the y-intercept. So axis of symmetry is easy. Axis of symmetry is where the vertical line goes through the vertex and cuts the parabola into the left and the right? So it happens to be this line right here. And that line crosses the x-axis at negative 3. So if you want to, because it is a vertical line, you can type in x equals negative 3. And it's going to graph that vertical line for you. Now, this is something that your normal TI graphing calculators cannot do. It cannot graph vertical lines. So this is why using Desmos is like a really good option, right? I'm going to go to setting. I like to make my line dotted for asymptotes, or not asymptotes, for axis of symmetry. And if you want to label it blue, that's fine too. Okay, and then hit done so you can get out of there and get back to your normal window. All right, what else are we supposed to find? We're supposed to find y-intercept. So let's go back over here. If you look way down here, it's the y-intercept. And if you hover your mouse over, it says 0, negative 5, okay? So I'm going to label that 0, comma, negative 5, close parentheses, hit label, and then label it y-intercept with the order pair 0, comma, negative 5. So your graph is very complete right now with everything labeled, with all the characteristics given to you. Let's go back and see. It's asking for domain and range. Okay, domain is quite easy for all quadratic functions. The domain is always going to be negative infinity to positive infinity, right? The range, however, remember the definition of range is all of the y values of this graph, right? So this graph, as you can see, it's infinitely on the bottom, right? So it's negative infinity. And then as it travels to the top, it actually stops here at 4, which is the maximum of this graph, right? The maximum of this graph is 4. So your range is actually bounded by this value. Okay, this graph does not go any further than that, right? So the range for this graph or for this function is negative infinity to positive 4, okay, on the y value. So that's the range, okay? So that's range and domain. Increasing and decreasing. So if you notice, increasing is all of the values of the graph. If I click on here and I drag my mouse, if you notice the y value is increasing. Y value is your function, right? Your function, it's increasing. So negative 1.7, negative, so it's getting more positive. Now it's getting positive. So zero point 0.6, point 1, so 1.5, 1.6, 1 point. So it's increasing all the way to 4. So you can say that it's increasing from negative infinity all the way to right here. So on the x value, where is your graph increasing? On the x-axis, it's increasing from negative infinity because it's way over here, and it actually stopped right here. This is the point where the line of axis of symmetry is. It stopped increasing, right? And from here, it starts decreasing. Okay, so for increasing, we're going to say from negative infinity up until negative 3, okay, on the x-axis. And then starting from negative 3 down to infinity, that's when it starts decreasing, okay? So that's the concept of increasing and decreasing, okay? And zoom in and out of your graph, you can see that your graph actually is infinity on both the left and the right, okay? It doesn't stop. See, your graphs keep going, right? So anyway, so the good thing about labeling this is as you zoom in and out of your graph, you can you don't lose your order pairs, right? You'll always see your order pair. Forgot to put the parentheses here for my y-intercept, but there you go. Anyway, so again, that's how you use desmos to make your life a little bit easier when you're dealing with these quadratic function. Thank you guys. Hope that was helpful. See you guys next time. Bye bye.